Happy Wednesday! All right. Today, again, disclosure is going to be a little bit longer. We're going to go over the NAR Home Buyer and Seller Generational Trends Report of 2017. And I have taken the courtesy of crunching it from 145 pages down to about 7 or 8 minutes for you. I promise I'm going to get through it. I'm going to pound it and talk about the most important facts that we need to talk about. Today is on the seller, on the listing side of it. Okay? We already did the buy side. We're going to talk about the seller side of it. And I just kind of took some interesting data that's going to jump out and kind of slap you in the face so we can focus on that part of it. And again, this is 2017. The 2018 report has not been published. We'll probably get it around March or April. NAR is really good at publishing that information. So one, the big thing that jumped out and hit me in the face is 72% of sellers moved within the same state. 72% of sellers moved within the same state. You know, we always say, a sign of the yard is worth more than a sign of the trunk. And number two, he who owns the listings owns the market. The reason why is because we should average 1.5 sales if we own the listing. Now, this statistic means we have 1.72% because we have the sale and 72% of them are going to buy within the same state. So if you're licensed in the state, you should be able to service them. If not, what? We have a referral. We can at least get a 25% referral fee. Are we servicing our clients properly? Are we using our referral network base? If not, we are not doing a good job. We are not monetizing at the highest effort we should be doing. Now, the top 3 reasons that were published by NAR, okay, for them to sell. The number 1 reason is the house is too small. That was 18%. 15% is move closer to friends and family. And 14%, number 3, was job relocation. Okay? Now, I want to talk about the next number, and that is sellers 36 years and under, the house too small, that percentage goes to 37%. So it goes from 18 to 37% on anybody under the age of 37. So I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again. When we talk about the first-time home seller seminars, it's something we talk about in our Listing Mastery Bootcamp under our lead generation. It's very, very important. We focus on first-time home buyers. We don't focus on first-time home sellers. They're just as scared to sell their first home as they were scared of buying their first home. So we need to sit there and focus. Remember, 37 and under, we're talking about online generation. Do we have information online? Are we technology driven? Do we have the information out there? Usually, now we talked about referral. We talked about how we got the buyers in the first place. How did we get these buyers to be able to sell them a house? I want to talk about a couple more numbers here real quick. Sellers typically lived in the house for 10 years. These numbers are the same numbers that have gone through since I started back in 1989. It's always been 8 to 10 years. Now, a statistic that jumped out and hit me in the face. 36 and under, it's only 6 years. 36 and under, it's 6 years. Now, that number ties into the sellers 36 and under, 37% complain it's too small. They bought their first time home. Now, we're just now approaching 2018. If we go back 6 years, we go back to 2012, right? 2012, we were just coming out of the bubble. Housing was still a little bit expensive, not as affordable. Rates were just in that market. Maybe they were buying some rehabbed REOs, some whatever, so they can only afford smaller houses. You know, the unemployment rate was not as good as it was today. So we were in a different economical situation than we were today. So a lot of them can afford more houses. They have anywhere between a $20,000 and $40,000 equity stake in their houses today, versus the 60 to 70-year-olds or people that stay in their house for 10 years have a higher equity stake versus people that have been in their house for 6 years. Longer term, higher equity, more down, can afford more house, right? So, next, the typical seller recommended agent twice since selling their house. Interesting. So out of everybody interviewed, the typical seller, since they sold their house, has recommended that agent twice. So I'm going to ask you that question. Is 40% of your business referrals? That means, one, it's not that your client doesn't recommend you, and I've said this for years, people. Consumers forget. Consumers have a busy life just like you do. If you're not top of mind, and if your brand awareness is not there, it's not that they didn't like you. It's not that they didn't respect you. It's not that they didn't think that you weren't great. It's that they forgot you. Oh yeah, I was with that guy over at KW, or that lady over at Remax, or that fellow over there at Prudential or Berkshire or whatever. They can't remember you. There's only a percentage that can remember a name, and a larger percentage that can remember a brand. So if you're not top of mind, you're not going to get the referral. Number two, 33% of sellers recommend an agent 3 or more times after the sell. 37% of sellers ages 37 to 51 years old gave referrals 37% more than any other age bracket. So the question that I have for you, do you have that past client program? Are you maximizing the 72% of buyers that are buying within the same state? And are you reaching out to those buyers that you represented in regards to the 37% that are in too small of a house, or 18% of the total inventory that you've sold? It's an interesting concept. If you build your business for 5 years, you can live your life off of just past clients and referrals. If you think about it, if it's done right, you could build your business just off your past clients. But most people spend more money generating more business instead of taking care of the people that you've already served. You've already proven that you're amazing. And statistics don't lie. And NAR has done an amazing job of throwing it out there. The challenge with it is they provided 145 pages worth of data, and most people don't read it. So I like proof, and I read these every single year. There's more data out there. I mean, literally, I could probably do one of these data sources every single week for the entire year to go through it. So I ask you to read it and look at those numbers. Numbers position you in front of where you should be. Wayne Gretzky never went to the puck. He went to where the puck was going to be. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. You need to be where your consumers are going to be. Look at trends, see where they're going to be, and be in front of them. Okay? So, I know this one was a little bit long, and we're going to get back into implementation on the next ones. So, now's the time to look to see what's happened in trends over the last couple of years. Usually we're talking a 1, maybe 2% change, market conditions, consumer trends, activities year over year, unless we hit a huge REO market or short sale market that's going to hit indicating factors. Right now, we're not looking at that. We're looking at a smaller percentage of activity in the depreciation of housing. So we're not looking at a huge crash. Okay? God bless. I'll talk to you next Wednesday.